There's been a fire reported in the building. Please proceed to the nearest exit and leave the building.
This is just a drill.
That's 19 security. Floor 2 is clear.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric, and welcome back to Deciphering My Experience. I have a few things I want to talk to you guys about today. But first things first, I want to mention that on the 26th, I will be back on Nachtwaffen Penny Bradley on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. It'll be that Saturday afternoon. I'll put in the comments the precise times, which areas that you might be in. And I do believe that it is a call-in show, so I will see if I can list the phone number there as well. If anybody wants to call in and have any questions, feel free. Hope to hear from you. But for today, I'll be talking about that I was kicked off of Facebook. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, if you could please share this page. I could use the assistance for the time being. So like, subscribe, and share this page, please. The other thing was I had a trip to Ketchikan, Alaska that was rather interesting. And there's some backstory to go with that you folks may get a kick out of. Also, I have my Bentov-based timeline here that I came up with recently. I've been doing a lot of work trying to figure out my timeline, and it's been very challenging, so I look forward to chatting with you folks about that. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the book club from space. I have some books over there that I'm going to be chatting about later on, so I guess let's get everything started. I had recently gone on a camping trip. Nothing crazy, just an overnighter it turned out to be, to go peeking for some moose, because my girlfriend and I happen to know where the moose are meandering this time of year. And then upon coming home from that camping trip, I tried to log into my Facebook, see what I was supposed to catch up on. And apparently I was told that my account had simply been disabled. That is all that I was told. I had no infractions, no warnings, nothing that I was told I had, gone over any line. So I don't know, and I guess we'll see what becomes of it. I may or may not go back to that platform, but for the time being, I'm gonna try seeing what else is out there and go in a different direction. Again, hopefully you guys can, help me out with that. Share this stuff wherever you can. I mean, I don't care if you put it on Facebook as long as, it's getting shared. It's just that I don't know if that's my battle anymore, to be locking horns with them. So maybe this will be more on the down low, and if you guys spread it around all over the place, maybe they can't slow it down. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I appreciate it. Ketchikan, Alaska. I guess I'll just bring it back a little bit so that I can give everybody the full picture as to what's going on as of late, because it's pretty cool. I guess it was shortly after Penny had come up and we had the visit at the Adams Center. I was contacted by, I guess it was one of the producers of a television series that had aired last year, and they had come across some of my videos and my research, and it struck a chord with some of the things that they had been working on and researching themselves. So we had some conversations, and long story short, they had asked if I would like to be involved in one of their television episodes for an up-and-coming season 2. So the story was in Ketchikan, and it's about submarines, it's about UFOs, it's about secret bases, and all the stuff that I've been researching and looking into. So this could be a lot of fun. It went very well, and hopefully we can have more conversations and discuss more things. I did let them know that I'm interested in other topic matter that we could potentially put out, and they are as well. They have a whole second season they're trying to manufacture. So keep your fingers crossed, and maybe I'll be able to do something with those folks and spread the word some more. Now, item number 3, this Bentov-based timeline. Give me 1 second. A lot of you SSP veterans have pulled off your timelines. A lot of other SSP veterans recommend that other people make them. And it's pretty challenging when you have a lot of thoughts in your head that you're trying to put all over the place. But more or less, any of you that have been following my videos will know that I am a student of Itzhak Bentov and the book Stalking the Wild Pendulum. Do not forget that this is also the book that is heavily referenced in the Stargate program and used by the CIA. And if you remember from when I did that video, this upper half may look very similar, and obviously you can see the as above, so below self-symmetry there. But I'll give you a brief rundown. So here we have the progression of time. Up here we're starting at 74, we have 84, 94, 04, 14, 24, and 34. I would say that's our alpha range. For just depiction, I have alpha, omega, and infinity. Time running in that direction, this would be considered expanded on either side. This here would be the line that from one individual's perspective, you would witness the progression of time. This orange line here represents a 10-year cycle, or what I'm calling a negative energy cycle. This 5-year cycle, being the green line, being a positive cycle. Now, this is just one particular format for a timeline that fits within the boundaries of what Bentov was getting at. I do not believe that this is the only format available. You could see that there's other ways for this one to be self-similar in other ways as well. So things can always get more complex. But back to what is versus what is potential. For my lines in particular, you can see there's these dots, these nodes that are moving around, and I'll explain them this way. In 1975, I was born. In 1974, I was conceived. Following a 5-year cycle of what I know to be important events in my life, I was able to get this out of here. You may have to figure out your own dates and frequencies. It may not be a 5 or 10-year cycle for you. I was able to, in a way, reverse engineer this because of the events that I know. I've yet to plug them all in here because I wanted to keep this as kind of a clean slate of a format for you folks to see before I complicated it with my thoughts and experiences. But what I started to notice when I put in my nodes was that wherever my 5-year cycle would get hit by the 10-year, almost punctured by the negative. 4 years after that would be when I would have a 20 and back. Now, this is an exaggerated break here just so that you can see it. But for all practical purposes, this is almost a non-existent gap. When returned back, that happens almost instantaneously. But with that being said, upon being returned, my nodes show that my positive cycle comes appropriately to heal after returning from such an event. And you can see that this occurs continually down my line. Life event, 4 years later, returned, 1 year later, hit again, 4 years later, returned, 1 year later, and it continues so on and so forth to right there, 2020. Apparently, a banner year for me. And this is where people can start considering where these 20 and back programs and expanded modes of consciousness and different planes and jumping around, when you start to see these colors and phases. So if somebody is at this line at 2020 and you're having this experience, well, yeah, for the most part, you're going to feel like you're right here. But from what we learned from Bentov is that there's times when you're at your expanded consciousness where you can be here, or you can also be here, or potentially some sort of interference pattern between the three or more, depending on how your consciousness is expanded and how you move about these different paradigms. Maybe you can pull intel from there. Maybe you can pull intel from there. Maybe you can store it in another spot. These are all kind of the possibilities of expanded consciousness, and this is why the government was investing lots of money to work on these things. This is part and parcel of what they were learning and what they were figuring out and how they were trying to map people's brains and map their consciousness, because they understood that there was something going on. There was an energy to this. There was no denying it. This is going to be a perfectly good format for me. Now, what I will do is start taking the things that occurred in my life that would be associated to these blocks of time and space, and it's going to help me to start get a better picture, and clarity helps. So let me know in the comments if this looks like it helps you guys out at all. By all means, use it. Get some help. If there's anything that you think that could help me out with mine, please reach out to me. My Gmail for this is decipheringme369@gmail. So if you have any comments on this, or if you just want to make sure you don't get lost in the mix, send me your email address and I'll keep in touch with you through email, and then that way I can let you folks know where I'm at and what I'm up to. But that's probably about it for the Bentov timeline. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. And then here I have some interesting books. Again, the Adam Center event that Penny and I went to bore lots of fruit. So we met some interesting folks, and I got this amazing book. It's called Nothing in This Book is True, but It's Exactly How Things Are by Bob Frissell. This was handed to me by a woman from the crowd who attended, and she was very kind, and it was the first time, I have to admit, in my life that I was told that I was meeting someone who said that they were not from this world. So that was interesting. And she gave me this book and said that she was told that she was supposed to give it to me. And I found it a fantastic read. It was very much in line with all of my studies previously. You know, topics like pole shift and Lemuria and Atlantis, Akhenaten, Fibonacci sequences, Law of One, the Pyramid, Secret Government, the Philadelphia Experiment. I mean, this book just goes on and on. But it brings everything together in a way that I think is very concise, and it takes what I would say is so many more volumes of books that I have read previously, and just condenses a lot of that information into, one set of pages. It's like a Reader's Digest of what's gone wrong up until this point. And the really cool thing is it also ends up with, what can we do about it? I know oftentimes people say, well, what can we do about it? This book has some thoughts on that, but since I am not trying to, make up your mind for you, I would suggest read the book and then make up your own mind. Another thing that I wanted to bring up in regards to this book is it speaks a lot of a gentleman that I have read about years ago, and I myself also got a lot of insight from. And he speaks on energy and what we have in our reality in energy, and how things can be very different from your understanding. And again, I would suggest you read and learn about Drunvalo McKeezeltech and the ancient secrets of the flower of life and the information that is in these volumes. I do believe there are videos available for this stuff now for that you guys that are, more keen to that. But hard copy books are fun too, because they, don't get erased and stuff like that, or broken things. Books last. So grab a book. But those are some great books. I highly recommend that you check them out and let me know what you think about those as well. Drunvalo McKeezeltech is a very kind soul. He seems to be very wise, and he seems to be trying to help people. So I think that's someone that everybody would benefit from looking into. So I'll sign off with that. I want to thank everybody for listening and checking me out as usual. I will figure out some new method to get my information out further. But in the meantime, if you guys could just help me out a little bit, like, subscribe, share these videos, all of my videos, spread them around. What else do you guys got going on? I hope you have more going on than that, but I could use the help. Have an excellent afternoon and enjoy.